Hey guys, welcome back to our series. In the last part we have seen how to catch the API response, and we have also seen how to mutate the data. And in this part we are going to add a pagination in our app. So currently we don't have the pagination, but at the end of this part we should have a button that will get me the next 5 posts, then next 5, next 5, next 5. That's one thing. As an alternate, we are also going to set up the pagination with the infinite scroll. So as you scroll to the bottom, it will load the next 5 posts, then next 5, next 5. Okay, so let's see the endpoint first, the paginated endpoint. Okay, so far we are working with the sort and the order as the query parameter, and now we need to add two more parameters. One is the page and the limit. So page is the page number and limit means the number of posts inside a page. Okay, as usual, nothing complicated. So let me just grab the first page of data. So page 0, got it. So I got 4 posts as the limit is 4. Now just go to page 1. Now look at the bug. It returns the same set of data, right? So there's a bug inside this JSON server API, and that is the page 0 and page 1 is same. They have not solved a bug, but as a developers we need to figure out something to solve this bug programmatically. Okay, let's go to page 2. It works fine. Nice. So that's our paginated endpoint, and next just see the hook. The hook we are going to use for the pagination. This is called useSWRInfinite. Let's see how this hook works. Okay, this seems complicated, but it's not. Just go to the top. Yeah, so this is again pretty similar hook, but it returns two additional values, which is size and the set size. So the size means the number of pages that will be fetched and returned. So by default this is 1, which is normal. So every time you need to get the one set of data, and then next set of data, next set of data, next set of data, right? And then the set size function. This is used to set the number of pages that need to be fetched. So it is normally should be size plus 1, because if we have 5 sets of data, for example, next we need to get the 6 sets of data. Again, it seems complicated, but it's not. Okay, the next thing is the getKey function. This function has two parameters. One is the page index and previous page data. Page index is the current page index, and the previous page data is the previous page data. Very simple. But ultimately it returns a key. Key means the URL, the paginated URL. Okay, and this getKey function should be passed as the first value inside this hook. Look at this getKey function. Okay, so normally you pass the key directly inside this useSWR hook, but inside this useSWRInfinite you need to pass this function. That function ultimately generates a key, that's a separate thing, but you need to pass the function. Okay, with that you can pass some options which is not needed now. Okay, so that's the general idea. We are going to come back to this documentation again, but let's first do the practical stuff. Let's go to the index page. We are going to paginate the post first. Okay, so for now we have this useSWR hook. Let me just comment out this. Cool. Instead we are going to call the useSWRInfinite. useSWRInfinite. Cool. Let's call this should be auto imported at the top. Yeah, auto imported. And then here you need to pass the getKey function. Let me just create a function. getKey. Cool. What it gets the page index, the current page index, which is the number, and the previous page data, which is for now any. We are going to fix the type, don't worry. So it returns the URL. Let me just copy the URL from the browser. Before that, let me just fix the typo. Yeah, just grab the URL from the browser, this one. So yeah, just wrap this with a template string. Cool. This page number, it should be dynamic. So dollar and curly brace, this should be page index, the current page index, right? Now this page index at the initial state is 0, so it will be the page number 0 and the limit is 4. So that's it, my getKey function is ready, and then it returns a lot of values. Let me just destructure. Look at this, is validating, mutate, revalidate, set size, data, error. What we need is this data. Let me just rename this to paginated data. What happened with my voice? Paginated data, and then the size. Size is the number of pages to be fetched, and then the set size. Okay, cool. Let me just console log. So log the paginated data and the size. That's it. Just comment out these stuffs for now, and let's see what it returns. Okay, let's go to the console, refresh, and I should have object. Great. This object, I have the paginated data which is undefined and the size is 1. Why? Let's refresh. Oh, I have a space. I have a space somewhere. Oh, remove this space. Refresh, and now, yeah, got it. So inside this paginated data, I have the array. Now look at this, it's a 2D array. It's a 2D array, okay? And then the size is 1, which is at the initial state, this is 1. Now let's just talk about this paginated data. So it's a 2D array where every set of data is nested as a separate array. So the next set of data will be a separate array, and what we need to do? We need to convert the 2D array to 1D array and then just map over the array and render the post. That's the idea. So let me just try to call this setSize function so that we get some paginated data. So let's create a button that is load more, fine, and on click I'm gonna call this setSize function. And now we want the next set of data, right? So it should be size plus 1. So if the size is 2, I need the 3 sets of data, and as the 2 sets of data is already cached, I need to call the third endpoint. That's the idea. So set size is size plus 1. You can do this size plus 2, size plus 3, but size plus 1 is the usual thing. So just go to the browser and let's see how it works. Cool. Refresh. Let's go to network. Yeah, I need to show you something inside the network and inside the console. Because so far we have the first set of data. Fine, click on this load more, and then we have the 2 sets of data. Look at this 2D array. It has 2 nested arrays, but that's a gotcha. Look at this. Inside the first array, I have the content which is com3. Look at the content, guys, and then look at the second array. This is the same content, right? And why? And that is because the bug inside the JSON server API. It calls the page number 0 first and then the page number 1. And as the page number 0 and 1 is the same inside the JSON server API, it returns the same data. Also look at here, inside the network tab, at the first call this is page number 0, at the second call this is page number 1, right? So it returns the same data. And now if we just call this load more again, it will call the page number 2. Look at this, it's called the page number 2, and you should see a different data. Yeah, let's scroll down. It's a nested array of 3 elements, or array of 3 arrays. Okay, page number 0, page number 1 is same, and then the page number 2, this is different data, right? Okay, so you need to fix this bug. And how can you fix that? Basically we are going to skip the page number 0. So here, when we are getting the page index, we are going to increment the page index by 1. That's it. Now the page number 0 does not exist. It will automatically page number 1, then page number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Just save this and let's see. That's the developer stuff, guys. You need to find a way. Okay, first set of data, click on this load more. And yeah, next set of data, cool. Look at the data. First array, this is com3, com2, whatever. Second array, this is 𝐼𝐸𝐺𝐸 and 𝐸𝐸𝐺𝐸𝐺𝐸. So the bug is fixed. And now we need to check if we have already reached to the end or not. If we have already reached to the end, we don't need to make more requests. And how can we check that? We can check this with the previous page data. So if the previous page data is empty, it means we have reached to the end. Let me show you. Just click on this load more again. Okay, you got the next set of data. Is it empty? No, it's not empty. Click on this load more again. And now look at the 4. It's still not empty, but we're sure that it's the last set of data. Click on this load more, and now it should be empty. Scroll down, yeah. Look at this, it's empty. So you can either check if the last set of data is empty, or if the last set of data has less elements than the limit. In that case, we have reached to the end. For the simplification of this video, just check if this is empty or not, if the last set of data is empty or not. So here, this is getKey function. After modifying the page index, I'm gonna check if the previous page data is empty or not. Previous page data means the last set of data. So if we have the previous page data, and because it might be undefined at first, and if the previous page data dot length equal to 0, or we can do this using the not operator. Why not? In that case, I return null as the key, and if the key is null, it means it will not fire the request. Let's see this again. Refresh the page. Got the first data, load more. Got the second set of data, load more. size is 3, third set of data. You can refer the size as the page. Click on this load more. I got 5 sets of data, and now click on this load more. Look at this, it will not make the new request. It's array 5, array 5, array 5, not array 6, 7, 8, 9, right? The size number is increased, and that is because we are calling this load more, but we are not making additional requests. Just go to network. You can also see here. Click on load more. It's not making a request. I'm clicking load more, but it's not making a request. Okay, so we are pretty much done, and the last thing we need to see how to flood the array. Because so far we have this 2D array, right? We need to find a way to flood the array to 1D array, and that is pretty simple in JavaScript. Basically, let me just create a 2D array. 1, 2, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's my 2D array. And now if I just call the flood, it will be converted to an 1D array. Okay, so let's do it. Yeah, so let's comment out this console log, the data. Let's say this is post, and then we need to flood the data. So const, let's say paginated post. This would be data dot flood. Oh, not data, post. This would be post dot flood. Great. And now we are going to map over this paginated post here. Let's uncomment this. Create post, just comment out this for now. Cool. This should not be post, this should be paginated post. Fine. Okay, what about the error? We'll just grab the error. You can also grab the error. Yeah. Let's see, we need to solve some bugs, but for now it should be working. Refresh. Oh, cannot read property flat of undefined. Great. Use optional chaining, and then here, yeah, cool. Refresh. Great, we got the first set of data. Click on load more. Great, it got the second set of data. Third. Fine. Fourth. I should get one post, yeah, and then load more. I should not get any post. Now if we have already reached to the end, in that case I will not show this load more button, right? Okay, let's do it. How can I do it? So I'm gonna create a variable which is each reached end. It will be something like, if we have the post, I'll get the last array, the last nested array. So it should be post.length -1, and if the length of the last nested array is less than the size, which is 4, in that case it is reached to the end, right? It means got last batch of data. Cool. So now I can check this. If this is true, I'll not show this button. If it is false, I'll show this button. So not, and this. With this, I'm also gonna show a loader. So basically I'm gonna check if it is loading more or not. So let's create another variable, const loading more. Const loading more. Again, I'm gonna check if I have the post. I can use the optional chaining, but this is more readable. Now here I'll check if the last set of data is undefined. If it is undefined, it means I have not yet fetched the data, or the request is not yet successful. It means it's loading. Okay, so if the type of, so post and then size -1, which is the current page number. So if it is undefined, it means it's loading more. So here, if it is loading more, I'll show a loader. Okay, after the paginated post, just save this and go to a browser, refresh the page. Cool. Okay, load more. Great. Click on this load more again. Nice. Click on load more. I'm getting this loader, and now load more again. Load more, and yeah, I don't have the load more button, and I have fetched all the post. Now we also need to paginate the comments page. So let me just copy all the code and put it inside the comments page. Right now, let's create a custom hook, advanced React, so that the code can be reusable. Okay, so let me just create a folder. inside this libraries, don't need to create a folder. Inside this library, just create a file which is hooks.ts. Cool. So let's create a function and export that. The name of the hook is use pagination. Great. Okay, so let me just copy all the stuffs, get key to this loading more, cut it out and put it here. Nice. Import the useSWRInfinite from SWR library, and then we need to return a lot of stuffs, right? So return post, not post, paginated post, and then 𝐬𝐮𝐫𝐭𝐡, comma loading more, and with this all this stuff, this set size error, blah blah blah. Also the mutate function, mutate, and return the mutate. Lovely. Save this. And what about the URL? We need to make this URL dynamic, right? So remove this post created at order whatever, cut it from here. Instead we are going to grab the URL as the argument. So the hook will get the URL as a string, and then just put dollar and curly brace, this is URL. Save this. Beautiful. Anything else? Yeah, we can do this page size dynamic. Let's also do that for the base practice. So const, page size which is 4, and then the page size, just replace the page size 4 and page size. You can also get this as an argument, but that's fine. Okay, my hook is ready. Now just go to index.tsx and call this hook const use pagination. Just pass the URL. This is my URL. Lovely. So we got imported from library/hooks. Yeah, use pagination is important. Now it returns a lot of stuffs. What do we need? We need the loading more, comma 𝐬𝐮𝐫𝐭𝐡, comma error, paginated post, size, comma set size, mutate. We need that later. Okay. The post, let's just make this paginated post. Save this. Fine. Okay, now what about the type? Because the paginated post has a type of any, right? It should be a type of iPost. And how can you do that? You can do this using the generic. So just go to the hooks.ts. Inside our hook, we are going to create a generic. So just before the arguments, just put an angle bracket, and this is T. T is the naming convention for the generic. And then what we are going to do is any, it should be T, not T, array of T. And then this paginated data or paginated post, it should be paginated post, not paginated data. Make this paginated data, make this more generic. Cool. And it has a type of T array. Cool. Fine. And now just go to index.tsx, and as a generic, just pass the iPost. The paginated post does not exist. This is paginated data. We rename this to paginated post. And now just hover over this, and it should have a type of iPost array. Beautiful. Just save this, and it should be working fine. Let's go to the home page.
Okay, load more.
Nice. And now let's implement this for the comments page. Pretty simple. Just go to comments, the post ID page. Here, just call this hook. Let me just copy the stuff. Now this pagination stuff. Go to here. We don't need these comments. Instead, just call this hook. The URL, it should be this. Pagination should be imported. Import this from library/hooks, and then this is not paginated post. Instead, this is paginated comments. And type is not iPost. This is iComment. Great. This is not comments. It should be paginated comments. Okay, just save this. Just copy all the other functionalities, which is this loading more and the load more. So here, loading more and the load more. Just save this, and let's see. Just go to post ID 1 to 6. I don't have any comments. Let me just create some comment. Oh, I don't need it, it will work fine. Okay, and now just implement the pagination using the infinite scroll. So for that, just go to the npm and install a package which is called React Infinite Scroll. This React Infinite Scroll component. Okay, just install this library. Go to the terminal, split the terminal, and npm I React Infinite Scroll component. Great, now just go to index.tsx and implement this. Okay, so we don't need this button, we don't need this loader. Comment out this, and then we are going to map over this paginated post inside this component, this infinite scroll component. So just import the infinite scroll component, should be auto imported. Yep, auto imported from React Infinite Scroll. Yeah, here inside this just map over the data, but it needs some properties. So next, so when it's reached to the bottom, it will call this function. We just need to trigger the set page function, which is this one, this set size. Just pass this function here. Great. Then there's a property called #more. If it is true, it means we have more data. If it is not, it means we have reached to the end. So it should be this not reached end. And then we can pass a loader. It should be a loader component. Loader. And then there is end message. So if it is reached to the end, it will show this message, something like, hey, we have reached to the end. Reached to the end. Okay, something like no more data and all. And then one important property which is called length. Data length. So based on this data length, it will define the threshold. This should be a current length, which is paginated post dot length. If we have the paginated post, 10.length. That's it, simple. Save this, and now let's see. Let's go to the home page, refresh the page. No error, please. Great. Data length is missing. The prop is needed when loading more component. I have defined the data length. If it is undefined, I'll give 0. It is called null is collision operator. That is fine. And I'm also going to remove this paginated post and loader, the first loader. Okay, just save this and let's see. It should work. Refresh the page. Oh, I got all the posts, but there is a problem, and that is it has not covered the whole height, and that is because the limit is 4 only. Let me just increase the limit. Let's go to hooks. This is page size 7 or 6. Now just refresh. Great. Scroll, and yeah, great. Scroll, and as you are scrolling, it's getting the more post, it's getting more post, and then it is reached to the end. Okay, so that's it for this part. In the next part, we are going to see how to mutate the data inside the paginated post, and then we are also going to see how you can use this with the server-side rendering. It is not compatible with the server-side rendering, but you can do some stuff with the server-side data as the initial data. Okay, we're going to see that. We're also going to design this reach to the end and all, but that's not the point of this video. So that's it. I'm going to see you in the next part.